Hi everyone, I'm the Tax Pro, and today we're going to go over the new QuickBooks Online layout. So if you were like me, you weren't super fond of the layout when you first saw it. I didn't like the new QuickBooks Online layout. I thought it was a lot harder to navigate. So I'm going to kind of show you where everything lives now. It's still all here. It just looks weird. So when you first log in, this is ABC Creative. This is the company, the fictitious company that we have. When you first log in, you're going to come to the dashboard. And right here on the dashboard, this is kind of what we're looking at now. We've got this kind of weird set of apps, so to speak, kind of in this upper kind of row. And then you'll get some recommended. It's recommending we get payroll. It's going to recommend QuickBooks products. And then we have some quick create actions. And we have the business at a glance here. So a couple of things when you first log in on this dashboard. One, if you need to navigate to things like expenses or invoices or that kind of thing, you can come up here and select them from this kind of sliding menu, but you can also still navigate to them from the left-hand menu, and I'll show you that in a minute. It is going to give you some information when you first log in, and I want to make sure that you recognize, what this information is and how useful it is for your business. So when you first come in, you're going to see this business at a glance, and you're going to see invoices right here. So we're going to see invoices that haven't been paid, ones that have been paid, and then ones that have been deposited. Keep in mind that if you have not invoiced for something, it might not be in here, right? So this information on the dashboard is only as up to date as your QuickBooks. The P&L here, like you can see, I haven't entered anything in here for July. There's not a P&L there. It will give you a snapshot of your profit and loss. So if your books are closed, you can see your P&L from last month, which is kind of handy. Expenses for the last 30 days. If these aren't up to date, this will not be up to date. Same with cash flow trend. Invoices will not be up to date. Sales, all of this stuff is really helpful if your QuickBooks is up to date. Okay. So this is what your default dashboard is going to look like. It's going to have a bunch of different information here. And, some of this could be super helpful as far as like a shortcut or seeing a snapshot of where your business is. Just remember, it's only going to be as helpful and as up to date as your QuickBooks. Okay, so if your QuickBooks isn't up to date, this isn't going to be helpful. So where we used to go and we had all of our menu items over here, they're all still here. They just look a little bit different and they're not quite as apparent. So you can navigate up here and you can go to expenses and pay bills. So this is where you would enter a bill, where you would enter some sort of expense, that kind of thing. You can still come here to your sales and get paid. You can still go to your customer area, the team, which is going to have things like employees, time, inventory, sales tax, business tax, lending, and payroll. So a couple of things here. Lending is going to be the QuickBooks lending. So QuickBooks lets you borrow money, or certain businesses borrow money. This is not like lending from a bunch of different lenders. This is lending from QuickBooks. Business tax, this is going to have information about, using QuickBooks or Intuit products for business tax. Sales tax, if you had sales tax on in QuickBooks Online, it now lives here. And then obviously Intuit offers payroll. Over here, we still have this create button. So before it was the plus new button, it was a big green button that kind of sat up in the upper left-hand corner for you. And it was, just a big green button that said plus new. This is now the plus create button. Okay, so you can still click on that. Still here, it just looks a little bit different. It's not as big and obvious. And it still has kind of similar things that we can do here, right? So we still have a customer area and we can invoice, receive payment, generate statements, all that good stuff. So you can still do those items in here. Okay. Vendors, you can still enter expenses, enter bills, pay your bills, all that good stuff still lives here. It's just the plus create button. Okay. Here's the team area. So we have contractors, time entry, that kind of thing. And then we still have this other section. So there's a task management system in here. So you could create a task, bank deposit, transfer, journal entry, that kind of thing. So we still have kind of like the plus new button. It is just now the plus create button. Okay. You can bookmark different items. This here takes you back to this page, your dashboard. You can have your feed, which I'll show you here in a different video. You can navigate to reports. Again, I'll show you like the different types of reports in a different video, but you can quickly navigate. And then you have the My Apps section. So everything that used to live in that left-hand menu where we used to be able to go to expenses and then go to the vendor center, customers, and then go see the customer center. All of that now lives under My Apps. Okay, so they just essentially made it so where you got to hover over this little, you know, 9-dot menu item, then it's going to open up your other apps over here. Okay, so you can still navigate there. It's just kind of hidden in a way. So we can still go to accounting. You can still go here to bank transactions. So if you're using bank feeds, this is where you would go right here. So if you go in and you like to categorize based off of bank feeds, you can go to bank transactions there. You can reconcile, you can add receipts, you can navigate to rules, expenses and bills. This is where you can go to the vendor area, you can click on bills, all that good stuff. Sales, you can go to your customer area. This would be like an overview. It's going to show you what you have going on with sales. You can see your sales transactions, invoices, that kind of thing. We have this kind of weird customer hub with an area to enter leads now, which looks like they're trying to kind of make that more prominent to help you track your leads before they even become paying customers. I'll show you that in a different video. I'm just going to show you how to navigate this. We have our team area, so we can see employees, contractors. Time is going to be for timesheets. Inventory, there's a whole inventory area. So we have an area for inventory, sales orders, and purchase orders. Okay. Sales tax has its own section, and then business tax. Then we have lending. So lending is going to be like the line of credit. QuickBooks has a line of credit option, and then they also have a QuickBooks checking account option. Okay, so that's where the lending section is going to be. And then we have payroll. Okay, payroll is not included in your QuickBooks Online subscription. You need to get payroll on top of it. So if you need to utilize payroll, you just want to make sure that you get payroll on top of your QuickBooks Online subscription. So this is where everything kind of lives now. Where we used to see it in the left-hand column, we now see it here under My Apps. And when you log in, it also just sits up top here. So you can quickly navigate. So let me kind of show you what this looks like. It just has just kind of a little bit of a different view. So here we have our expenses. We can pop this over and you'll see again, like where we had that nice menu on the left-hand side. Now it kind of lives in this additional menu and we can fold these up, make it easier to kind of look at. So it just kind of lives in a separate area where it just kind of is an additional menu. You can go to Customer Hub, you can check out the new lead area, and then you'll see it's in beta right now. But all of these areas you're gonna see look just a little bit different. I don't quite like it as much as the old version, but it is all still there. So don't worry. I'm gonna show you how to dive into each of these apps and I'll make new videos essentially showing you how to navigate all the different processes now that QuickBooks has changed its layout. So let me know if you like the layout, if you have any questions, what your thoughts are on it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.